Well, welcome to this brave new world of spring semester. Um, it hasn't quite turned out as we hoped it would, unfortunately. Um, I'm just going to make this video to sort of give an overview of some of the changes that we're going to have for the rest of the semester. But before I do, I want to introduce my teaching assistant. This is Mr. Leo. He'll be uh, accompanying me probably in a lot of these video lectures. So, you say hello? No? Okay. Anyway, a couple of things I want to talk about today as we move forward with the semester. Number one, I've made the decision that the remainder of the course is going to be all online, regardless of what the university announces. We do have that option to just go all online, and frankly, I don't think we're coming back. In fact, a bit of an editorial, I think we would be pretty irresponsible to come back at this point before May. So it's going to all be online, period. It's also going to be entirely asynchronous, meaning there will be deadlines, but there are no specific times where we all have to be in the same place at the same time. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm not confident that our technology infrastructure is going to hold up extremely well once classes get into full swing. And I recognize that students may be back at home in a rural area, not have great broadband, things like that. So I'm going to try my best to be sensitive to those issues. So you won't have to be in a group meeting or a Zoom lecture live. So all the materials I'm going to produce are going to be recorded. I'm also, I've built myself a YouTube channel, and so all of the materials will be streaming too, so you won't have to download anything. You can stream straight from YouTube. Unfortunately, I think we've seen, as I mentioned in my email, we've seen the end of the service learning project. So I'm gonna cut it, and unfortunately, I don't think it's reasonable to expect that we do data analysis from afar when people don't have access to software and things like that. Again, I want to be sensitive to y'all's situations. So we're basically what I'll do is give them the data that you've collected and entered, and that's going to be our stopping point for this semester. Which is, as a reminder, finish your data entry, and you'll see in a moment why that's going to be important. So I'm going to share my screen real quick to show you some revisions to the syllabus to explain how the rest of the semester is going to look. So what I've done is I've crossed out parts of the existing syllabus that are no longer relevant, and I've highlighted new stuff. Actually, shoot, I haven't put the link in here, but I'll do that after I finish this video. Here, I will link to my virtual office via Zoom, or excuse me, I'll link to my calendar. If you want to talk with me in person, happy to do so. This link will take you to my calendar. You can sign up for slots. I'm going to try to make slots available most weekdays, at least a couple of slots a day to give people flexibility. So that's obviously, you could email me anytime and we can set it up this way, but this is probably the most convenient way. And I'll probably put a direct link to my calendar on Google, As You Learn as well. So again, course structure, it's going to be asynchronous. Here's what I'm going to produce in terms of course content. So we have 5 topics remaining. For each topic, I'm going to record some short lecture videos just to kind of go over major concepts from the readings. Also, address some of the questions you might post in your quizzes. Those will remain, the quizzes and summaries. And it won't be a full sort of long lecture. It'll be an abbreviated lecture. I'll also put up put up a discussion board for each of the topics. If you have specific content questions after you watch what I've recorded, then you can post those questions there. Also, for each topic, I'm going to be making a short video that focuses on some specific aspect in a little more depth, and then, some aspect of the topic in a little more depth. And I'm going to pose a reflection question to which you're going to respond, and we'll see how that fits in here. So we're not coming back to class. We're not going to have a chance to do another exam. I'm not going to change the weighting of the exam you took for your midterm, which hopefully I should have graded shortly. Have those posted. The reading responses and quizzes are going to be pretty much the same as I said in my last email that went out on Monday. One difference is that I tinkered with the time more, so you actually have a little more time, and you'll have basically one per week for the next 5 weeks. Here's the new thing, the video reflection. So we've got 5 topics. I'm going to ask you to do 5 reflections on these videos that I produce. So basically, they're pretty short, a couple of minutes each. I'll try to get in depth and give examples of a particular concept, and then pose a reflection question. Below that video will be a place for you. Below that video on As You Learn, you'll see an assignment. That's the place where you'll respond to that reflection question. I'm only looking for like 2 paragraphs of reflection to the question I pose. So hopefully that'll be pretty self-explanatory when I start posting these short videos. Your group surveys. This is why I said it was important to get the data in. So I'm basically, reweighting things so that, you're getting basically the full service learning credit for just doing the surveys and entering the data. You don't even have to write a group report or a paper or anything like that. So I'm giving you, I said, enter them by Monday. I'm actually extending that deadline to March 27th. I will pull the data. So that's, I think, next Friday. Yeah. So next Friday, I will pull the data, and I will see how many of the assigned places you visited during the first half of the semester. And that's basically how I'll calculate your grade. So, if you visited 75% of the places I assigned you to visit, then you'll get 75% for that assignment. This is, again, this being asynchronous and online now, there's not going to be attendance. I'll still apply any attendance penalties for absences prior to spring break, but that's it. So those are the major changes. Again, we're not having a final exam. So let me delete this. This will all be asynchronous. That final exam will be replaced by those short reflection pieces. And again, to say one more thing about the reflection pieces, I'm basically will be evaluating those based on your thoughtfulness and how relevant your response is to the question that I posed. So again, we've got basically 5 topics left, and I've spread these over 5 weeks. So we're going to be covering 1 topic per week. I haven't quite figured out what to do with the 6. I may just do an optional thing. If you want to hear about something in particular, I'm happy to do so. My hunch is to talk a little bit about how community psychology applies to the situation we find ourselves in now with coronavirus. But if there are other things that you'd like to hear about, or like me to talk about, questions you have, we can use that last week to just kind of have some fun. Not a graded thing, but just hopefully something that you'll find interesting or useful. So that's basically it. You could go to As You Learn, you'll see that the quizzes are now due roughly around the start of what used to be our class times, like 4 o'clock on Tuesdays. And that's pretty much all I have in terms of summaries. Again, if you want to get in touch with me, you can shoot me an email, of course, or you can sign up with the links that I'll provide to my calendar, and we can do a Zoom meeting. So hang in there. I know these are uncertain times. I'm sorry this semester felt like we hoped it would. I think it's really unfortunate because I think we were about to get to the fun part of the service learning project. You did the visits, then we were going to have data that we could play with. Unfortunately, that's just not in the cards with what's happened. And I think, thinking back to public health perspectives, we do need to exercise some pretty serious caution in this situation. I know there's a lot of debate about how serious this might be, but I think it has the potential to be very serious. And this is something maybe relevant to what we've talked about in class. The thing about prevention is when it works, you don't notice it. So everything we're doing now, if it works, that means less people will get sick, which makes it seem like the preventative measures were overblown. I don't think that's necessarily the case. So these are the cards we've been dealt. I know there's a lot of anxiety about this, but let's just try to get through it the best we can, and still try to learn. So that's it for now, and you'll see videos appearing in the very near future. Take care.